All right, I'm Rinal Iyengar, and I'm at Abaco Systems. I lead their product management team. And I'm here to kind of change the topic of discussions that we've been having, the presentations we've been having. Can you hear me when I look at you? Okay, good. So I have been working, or had been working, with the primes that we have as our customers in this industry. I've been working with them for the past 20 years. And what I thought I would do is give you a little bit about their perspective of the embedded industry in terms of what they look for in suppliers, and talk a little bit about what I perceived as a customer, potential disconnect between the suppliers and the customers' expectations, and then a recommendation in terms of what I see can be done and why, to resolve that and why. I've been working in the defense industry for the past 20 years or so, and have worked for companies like Goodrich Corporation, United Technologies, MIT Lincoln Labs, Northrop Grumman. And my job used to be to design, develop, manufacture EW systems or ISR systems. And here's on this slide, there are two pictures. One is of a missile warning system, and the other is a potted reconnaissance system that I've been pretty instrumental in designing, developing, and delivering. So my job used to be leading product development teams, leading production programs, interfacing with suppliers, leading subcontracts, working with subcontractors in terms of developing whatever our designs were, whatever our avionics products were. And so I kind of built a perspective of what my expectations are, and they were kind of in line with what my colleagues were doing as well. So when I talk about this, yes, it is a singular perspective, it's my perspective, but it's a perspective in the environment that I worked in. So take it for what it's worth. Customers typically are looking to get suppliers to help them with building complex embedded systems, especially when you talk about the types of products that we in this industry provide. And they're looking for a lot of support from those suppliers, a lot of information from those suppliers. Basically, what they're looking for are high quality, reliable products and a lot of documentation and support that comes along with it. And the reason they need this is because they, in turn, have to provide that sort of documentation, that sort of support, and equally, or in fact, even more complex systems to their customers, the end users, the US government, the military, and so on and so forth. So they're looking for that buildup of documentation. They're looking for that buildup of services. They're looking for that buildup of high quality product so that they in turn can meet their customers' needs and their customers' satisfaction. What ends up happening a lot of times is that they get frustrated saying product quality is an issue. You know, products have problems. And it really ends up, when there is a problem, how quickly does the supplier come back and respond to fix it, to address the issues, to take care of whatever those problems are. So the second problem, which relates to the first, is, okay, now the product has issues when it does, and now the suppliers are not being completely responsive. And then there's another point that comes up is, I don't know why the suppliers are complaining about our terms and conditions. We are a large corporation. We've got standard terms and conditions. Why aren't the suppliers just abiding by them? We're not getting the right amount of information. We asked for this information. We're not getting it. What do we do about it? And we expect, we being the customer, we expect support through the entire product life cycle, whether it is during the product concept development, the development of the product, the integration, the manufacture, or even after the product has been delivered to the customer in terms of post-delivery support. Now, I've talked to suppliers as a customer, and now I am one of the suppliers. And our perspective, now our being the suppliers in this group here, our perspective is a little different on that. Products do sometimes have problems, and we go address them. So why is the customer being so demanding? Why does the customer need so much support? Why is the customer's schedules and their requests, their demands are unrealistic, or they're asking for a whole bunch of information? It's too much. And they didn't really pay for that sort of support. Or why do they think they're the only supplier, a customer? We've got thousands of customers. So you see there's this disconnect between what the customer's expectations are and what the supplier's expectations are. And what I'm trying to do here in this particular discussion or this presentation is to make us aware of that disconnect and try to see what we can do to bridge that. And the reason we want to bridge that is because the more we can build that confidence in our customers that we can help them in the ways they need us to help them, the more they will be willing to give us more of their business. And we talked about yesterday market trends. There is a potential that then that business grows, and as an industry, we get more of a market share. So that's my theory. What are customers really looking for? What's behind that frustration that I just discussed or described? What they're looking for are high reliability, high quality products. And what they do on their end is if there is a customer that they have that is able to meet their high demands for customer quality, or product quality, customer satisfaction, and their requirements for their delivery, whether it's schedule, whether it's cost, whatever those requirements are, they are willing to treat those suppliers as best suppliers and treat them as their critical business partners. UTC, for example, has this program called Supplier Gold, and as suppliers meet those requirements, they get awarded this Supplier Gold. I'll call it an award, but this rating. And once you get that rating, it's easier to get business at UTC, for example. And I think most of you would know that. You get similarly AS 9100, you follow those quality management programs, you get confidence, you build confidence in the customer that you do follow processes that can be audited successfully in terms of what you're doing. And this is important to customers because, as my colleagues yesterday defined, as you work in these environments and you create military products, the customers, the end users, are looking to be able to go back and look at documentation, look at how the designs were created, how the manufacturing was done. So that's why it's important. Now, suppliers for these complex systems are regarded as industry experts. Now, the primes do have a lot of information, a lot of background, a lot of knowledge and expertise in the areas of the technologies that we provide them. But they still look to us to be those industry experts, to be the trusted advisors in terms of telling them what are the right technology trends, what are best practices and methodologies in best practices in technologies. And so they are looking for us to give them that guidance. And therefore, they're looking for us to be that trusted partner. They're looking for us, the suppliers, to be a partner with them through the entire product lifecycle, which would start with building that relationship with the system architects when the product is a concept, and then changing that or flowing or evolving that to being trusted partners with the program managers and the engineers once the product is getting developed. There's a program defined around that product or around whatever that platform is, that opportunity is. And then they're looking for that relationship to evolve where you have that same that trusted partner relationship with the supply chain, and after the product has been delivered, with the post-delivery support. One of our colleagues yesterday talked about, I think it was from Curtiss-Wright, they talked about how programs of record go for a long duration of time, and customers are looking for support through that long duration of time. So it's typical for these programs of records to be as long as they look for support for as long as 15 to 20 years, and these customers are looking at us, the supplier base, to be able to come up with comprehensive, cost-effective product sustainment or product lifecycle management programs that allow them to go ahead and support that product for that duration of time. It's not so easy. In the commercial world, all of us do this. Every 3 years, we go and change out our laptop, ballpark. They cannot do that. They cannot go back and requalify their systems because, for example, on an airborne system, once you get a product and the product is designed and qualified, that means it's gone through not only qualification testing, it's gone through some sort of SIL testing, it's gone through some sort of hill testing and some sort of flight tests. You can't have, for a small, tiny board or a small gadget, you can't go do that whole qualification program again. Now, in the rare instances where they can go do technology insertions, they still are looking for suppliers to help them come back with products that allow them to keep or maintain the compliance that they had to the requirements in the first place. So they're looking for that sort of help. They're looking for backward compatibility. They're looking for support through that upgrade when they do those technology insertions. So that's what the customers are looking for. Having been a customer, I would say it's not too unrealistic. Being a supplier, now that we understand that, what can we do? What can we do to do better? And that's really to understand what is it that the customer's constraints are. What do they want in terms of swap? What are the constraints in terms of cost, in terms of schedule, in terms of obsolescence? How long do they have to handle it? What are the parameters around the obsolescence program that they can move around in, and how can we support them? Really we should look to see how can we work as a trusted partner to them. Because the more confidence we can build in them that we know our products, we know how to support them, we understand their needs, the more they're going to lean on us as an industry to help them out. What I have found as a customer is when I'm sitting around with my program teams, I look at my engineers, I look at my contract managers, my manufacturers, and my subcontractors all in the same room, and they are my product team. That is an extremely successful team that I can go to my end user and say, this is the team that is executing what you need us to do, Mr. Customer. And that not only brings in a lot of confidence for me, but it also brings in a lot of confidence for my end users. That's what I've seen as a customer. So building or creating a singular customer experience is, I think, pretty critical, where the customer doesn't feel like they are competing with all the other customers the supplier has, but that the supplier has their best interests in mind. That's, I think, a key piece. So all this would not work if we don't have a foundation of a good customer relationship program and a foundation of high quality, reliable products. So if we can build a whole structure around this, our customers will find that we can help them as an industry more, and they'd be willing to give us more of that work share that they have. And in other words, here's my hypothesis that would grow our market share.